All right, guys, thank you for coming down, and thank you for staying tuned for the Tuesday GPM personal development session. Now, tonight is going to be really great information, and the reason I'm giving you this information tonight is because last night, Jamie, Bobby, and I, we were having a mastermind group discussion, and we were bouncing around ideas, and all of the sudden, we had an absolutely powerful breakthrough. Now, it was the accumulation of things that we had learned in the past from some of the many personal development and educational seminars that we've all partaken in. But last night, there's a difference between learning something and realizing something. There's a very powerful difference between learning and realizing. And as we were talking last night, I believe it was Bobby said, "That's crazy." When I said something, it was an idea I had. He said, "That's crazy." And I said, "Bobby, what do you mean by crazy?" And Jamie got on his phone, and he started to go to Wikipedia. And he actually looked up the definition. Jim, can you do it right now? He looked up the definition of crazy.
Does anyone know the definition of crazy?
Yeah, does anybody want to tell us what the definition of crazy is?
Out of the normal.
Out of the normal, well,
That's what I said.
See, I just want to make a point. How many words do we speak every day that we don't even know the definitions of?
so what Jamie's saying is how many words do we speak every day that we don't even know the definition of? So Jamie, give us the, come here.
So the definition
No,
of...
wait, hang on. It's like Toastmasters, you gotta get up here and speak in front of the crowd. All right, definition of crazy, please.
Definition of crazy is mentally deranged, especially as manifested in a wild or aggressive way.
Thank you. Jamie, I'm gonna have Jamie come up here a couple different times and just he's gonna Google some words for us. Did you guys know that crazy meant that?
Yeah.
Can you, just because you decide, take the meaning away from a word and use it for a completely different meaning that the word does not mean?
No.
No. Just watch the tapping. We got that microphone on that. Yeah. So guys, we also want to watch the talking. We're going to keep everything down here while we do the talking. So we'll save questions and comments for after. And I just want to make these points here. So what about the word sick? Now, I know a lot of young guys, they use this, "Oh man, that was sick." Jamie, what's the definition of sick? I'm going to do this several times.
Can we just stand up there with you, bro?
I want, yeah, please. I want to make a point of what words we're using. And we're going to tie this all in, but first we need to actually get us some GPM truth bombs. Now, what does that mean? What's a bomb do? Blows things up. What's truth? So we're blowing truth all up into you. That's what's happening with the GPM.
I'll get the definition on both those too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the definition of sick is affected by physical or mental illness.
Great.
The second definition, feeling nauseous and wanting to vomit.
So somebody does a good job on something, and you say, "Man, that was sick." Everybody go like this. Really? Is that a good word to use?
No.
No. Why are we using that word? Can anybody think of 2 or 3 other fun words that we use? Insane.
That's my go-to.
Bobby says, "That's insane." Jamie, would you like to talk about the word insane? Now, it's different from crazy.
Yeah, insane. In a state of mind that prevents normal perception, behavior, or social interaction. Seriously mentally ill.
All right.
Or characterized or caused by madness. A third definition, in a state of extreme annoyance or distraction.
Wow. So is insane a word that you would use to describe something that you enjoy?
No.
Let me ask you again. Is the word insane, but does anybody here use that sometimes?
Well, I'd always use the word insane to describe a party that was sick or crazy.
Again, this important? Why is this not? Have you guys, I don't want to say the actual words. A lot of people have heard the old FML.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean fun Monday lover. FML means F my life. Okay, no, I'm not saying, I'm not declaring that to the world. I'm simply educating you as to why people use this hashtag or they'll use this word or this abbreviation. Now, we don't need to get into the definition of the F word, but do you want to associate the definition that now any swear is a very low frequency energy. It is not a word of intelligence.
It goes back to the negative versus positive. If you're starting to declare positive things with negative words, not smart.
In the beginning was the Word. So we know that words are important. And how we speak. Now, let me just imagine if God started swearing. What would happen? Things would really start getting messed up. Okay? War, death, destruction. I think our earth would explode. It doesn't happen. So words that we use are very important because they shape and shift our realities. So we have these programs that we've been implanted. Now your mind is a computer. Write that down. Your mind, my mind, or it's not my, don't say Shane's. My mind is a computer. Own it. Your mind is a computer. Write down. My mind is a computer. A computer that is run by programs. You learn these programs through your experiences and your teachers.
Other computer users.
Other computer users. Other people's programs. Now, there are programs that work for us, like breathing, walking, speaking. These are general programs. There are programs that we do need. And then are also programs that I call viruses, mental programs that are viruses. If a son watches his father yell at his mother and disrespect her, that son learned a behavior that is a virus. He got a mental program just instantly implanted into his mind that is now related to an experience. And when that child goes and grows up and he has a similar experience, already deeply embedded in his subconscious and his nervous system is a reaction or a program of abusing a woman and disrespecting her. And since he saw his father disrespect his mother as a child, and his dad is the authority in the house, and he just demoted his mother. He will not respect his mother as much, will he? Because he learned to program. That's called a virus. We can unplug these viruses. We can deprogram these. And I want you guys to read this. How I say, or pardon me, how I speak defines my perception of my reality.
You repeat that?
How I speak defines my perception of my reality. How I speak defines my perception of my reality. Believe it or not, even if you're a liar, you're very honest. Because how you speak and what you say all day long portrays who your inner character is and where your values are. But when you have high values, now you guys have to write this down. We're going to start working on some deprogram. You guys get the fact that words that we use can have some power and shape us. But why do we use words like that? Here we need to take a step back. We need to slow it down, and we need to defrag. And we need defrag. You guys, I'm making sure I'm not speaking over anybody's, languaging here.
On the definition.
What is the definition of defragging? So on a computer, when you defrag, it's like breaking things down and, well, let's just get Jamie to give us the actual definition. Let's make sure we're using the right definition by defrag.
Is short for defragment, an instance of defragging a disk or the utility that does this.
And defragging?
I'll do defragment.
Defragment, okay. So while he's looking for that, I'm just going to continue. Let's just we can program and we can deprogram. We can remove programs. Now, did you guys ever have MS-DOS when I think we're all of age, we remember MS-DOS. You had the C:// and you had to type in command, something or other. How far have we come in computers, by the way? Isn't that just amazing? And what we used to do back then was we had these basic programs, and we would have to program a computer, and we'd have to take programs out. We have to uninstall. When you guys get a program or an app on your phone or on your computer that you're not using or that you don't like or it's irritating, maybe the ads pop up all the time, what do you do with it? You uninstall it.
You get a Mac.
So if we are constructed in our minds are very much like computers, we have to systematically go through ourselves. We have to audit ourselves. We have to dissect our own thought processes and find out where the core of where we're coming from is. So we have to find out what the core of where we're coming from is. Because if I'm always saying, oh man, that's sick, oh, that S-bomb was crazy, that party was intense, am I really speaking clear or am I speaking jambalaya soup? I'm just putting words together and thinking that because of the emotion, but I don't have the vocabulary. Maybe there's an emotion or an experience I'm trying to transmit out there or communicate to people, but I'm using all the wrong words. Is it as effective as it could be if I was using the right words? No. So if I said that party was absolutely incredible, that would make more sense than that party was freaking sick. Okay? We have some absolutely incredible get-togethers here. And they're absolutely fun. Now, what does absolute mean? Definite. Go ahead, Jamie.
So defragment is a computer term. It means to recognize files on a disk so that the parts of each file are stored on the disk, thereby improving computer performance and maximizing disk space.
Okay, that makes sense. So basically defragging is compartmentalizing things and compressing things and making more space. So we're not going to use the word defrag anymore because is that actually what we're talking about? It's not accurate. So we're going to change our word and we're going to say deprogram, delete, because it's a more accurate word. From the mouth comes from the mouth utters the contents of the heart. Right? Did I say that right?
Of the soul.
Of the soul. Well, briefly, if you can explain that, you probably know that verse better than me.
Yeah, it says when the heart is full from, the mouth will flow over, right?
Right. Thank you. So where are we coming from? Now, what we want to figure out is what our core values are. Let's write down this. What are my core values? Write it down. What are my core values? Now, let me explain something. We have our higher value systems. This is when we're operating at our highest peak state. We are doing things that are in alignment with our highest values. Our values, by the way, they're not a set of just 5 values. We are very in-depth beings, and we are capable of having many different values at many different times in our lives. Okay, so when you are single and you're out there looking, you're prospecting, as they call it, trying to find the one, your values are going to be different. If you're a young 22-year-old guy and you're out trying to chase some skirts around, your values are going to be a little bit different. You're maybe not looking for something serious. There's just way too many skirts out there, right? Hey, Alex. Oh, I'm just kidding. Not trying to pick on you. So, but if you are wanting a wife or a woman who's wanting a husband, your values are going to be very different. You're going to be looking for very different things. You're languaging the things that you're saying and the things that you're doing, and the things that you're thinking are going to be very different because your values are completely different. Now, when you have children, your values again are going to change, aren't they? Because instead of, you know, a husband and wife maybe going out and having some fun and doing a planned trip to Mexico and, you know, hey, let's go over here, let's do this, and let's have some fun together. Now there's kids. So now there's a minivan, now there's toys, now there's crying and changing diapers and all this. Your values are going to completely change forever. Now it might be an exciting thing it should be an exciting thing for most people. Some people it's very, very scary. Again, the difference between those two people is they have different values. Okay, so you can see this. Now, when we get down to the core of our values, I want you guys to think about this. Is there a time in your life when you remember being at your best? Take a second, close your eyes, think about that moment. When were you on fire? When were you at your best? When were you in your greatest moment where you felt unlimited, where you felt you could do anything, where you were just flowing naturally and you had things coming and life was just so enriched and you were full in the chest and you felt amazing. There's energy. Can you remember something like that? There's a time.
Last week.
Amazing.
My last final.
Oh, that's great. So you aced that final.
I know it.
Now, I could have said you killed that final. Jane? Because this is a word that we have, as a society, we have started to go and use low frequency words, and I believe that is a very clever tactic. Hang on one second, let me finish this point. Of the enemy. Because here we are, as humanity is trying to raise its vibration so that we can connect all these things. People are desperate right now. They're seeing all of these things happen in the world. They're seeing all these crimes. They're seeing all this tragedy, all this war, all these natural disasters, and everybody's begging and pleading to shift in consciousness, to move to a higher state, but we're all using low-level vibrational words.
Here it is. Ready for this one?
Wait. I'm not ready yet.
I'm going to share two. There's two. There's more. Number one, to deprive of life in any manner, cause the death of, or slay. Number two, to destroy, do away with, extinguish.
That could be possible.
Those terms you want to use for your life?
Is that a term that I would want to use for your text?
I demolished it. Yeah. You guys could have said that.
Let's look at the word demolished. Do you really want to know what the word demolished means?
Demolish.
Demolish? No, demolish means to destroy, bring down, take apart.
But you're right.
So you could say you succeeded the test. You aced it. Now, acing is a terminology that's used is in having success. You passed it. You passed the test. Congratulations. But if I said you killed it, what?
Yeah.
You didn't kill it?
Demolish would work. Demolish would work.
What does it say?
To destroy or ruin, especially on purpose, tear down, to put an end to.
Wait, well, hang on a second, because if you did a test and we tore it down, that you're talking nonsense about something. You know what I mean? Because you finished the test. To tear it down, that's talking in cool language. Again, we're using terminologies that are not specific, so we're not being as efficient with our wording. We want to be as honest with our languaging as we can, and we want to be honest with who we are on the inside, so we need to know what our values are. So we got to take a step back and look at, now we have our highest value system. Write all this down. I'm going to tell you guys something. Write this down. We have our highest value system. We have our success-based values. And we have our fear or failure-based values. So we have our prime time. our highest values,
Success.
success-based values, and we have our failure and fear-based values. Highest values, success-based values, and failure and fear-based values. Now, when you are speaking, man, that's effing sick. You killed that. You destroyed that. You crushed it. Good. You know, I'm talking. I'm kind of torn, aren't I? Because I'm using words that are based on low energy, low frequency, fear and failure words, and I'm trying to use them in the success value system. I am so far from optimal and highest values, I couldn't be further. Because you see what I'm saying? There's your success and your failure values. Those are programs that you need to delete. All of it. Success, Mr. Positive Attitude, no. If you are at your highest values, success isn't an option, it is. It simply is. It's effortless effort. But how we speak, because sound transmits emotion. Sound transmits emotion. Sound transmits thoughts. Sound transmits experience. Sound transmits ideas. So we're going to read all, I'm going to go through those all. Sound transmits what?
Emotions.
Emotions. Sound transmits thoughts. Sound transmits ideas. And here's the last one right this. Sound transmits programs. Sound transmits programs. They used to not even play anything in a flat note or in the note of D back in the day, because music used to be very set in major. And then all of a sudden some people came up with like minor scales and then they playing in notes of D for music because it had this sort of like heavier, darker sound. And people thought back then that they wanted their music to be holy, and all of a sudden this one music came along that was dark, and the vibration, the energy from it was not clean, and they started to ban that, and they would actually burn. I mean, this is, of course, back when people were, I would say, literally crazy, maybe 200 years ago. They would burn people for doing stuff like that. Like if you were playing music off, he's a witch, he's a wizard, burn them. But it was intense back then. Look how we've changed as society. We accept this as norm, but back then, what do you think it was? Why was music kept at such positive frequencies and positive vibrations for so long? Because it transfers programs. If you're listening to, anybody here has heard of Kurt Cobain, Nirvana?
Yeah.
I listened to that when I was 14, and I'm pretty sure it helped add to my mega depression. And there's my dad. He always used to make fun of us listening to this music. And he'd come downstairs and he'd actually go, you kids are like, what are you doing? You listen to this stupid music, right? And he wouldn't even have anything to do with it. I think he was onto something.
I used to be only into rap. Rap made me angry.
I used to be into heavy metal. Heavy metal made me hate. I would rage because it amplified. If I was angry about a situation, I would listen to some Slayer in my car, and now I'm driving around, getting all this anger out. It's amplifying my anger. It's not releasing it. Then I'd be more angry about everything afterwards. And all these messages that would come through. And you pick up the frequency. If you think you're not energy, well, let me tell you something. You are. We are all energy. Do you guys know that you are energy?
Yes.
Electrical beings.
We are electrical. We are energetical. We are spiritual. We are phonetical. I don't know if that works. Does that work? kinetical, mechanical, biometrical, quantum physical, phenomenal.
Listen to the lyrics too in songs.
Yeah, you can't
Listen to the
escape. Now, you'll notice this in languages that all languages, if we were to remove enunciation, which is the mouth making the sounds shape into a word, that's what talking would be. All right, now languaging, all that does is take those vowels, those tones, right, those sounds, and it encapsulates them in a way that gives us separation so that we can have an experience with those words. So if you're listening to music and you don't know what the lyrics are, don't think that they're not affecting you, because that energy is still there. You're hearing it, even if you're not paying attention to the lyrics. It is affecting you on an energetic level. Be very careful about the music, just like you have to be careful about the company you keep. You got to be careful about the music you listen to. Like if you listen to Katy Perry, Fireworks, great song. I think that's a fantastic song. It lifts me up. But if I'm listening to like some gangster rap, now there's good rap and then there's gangster rap. Gangster rap is, in my opinion, one of the biggest destructive tools ever to be unleashed upon the poor population of this earth.
Well,
It is absolutely immoral, degrading. I remember listening to music when I was a kid that was so destructive, and guess what? All these kids in this little tiny town called Vernon want to be gangsters and homie cheese, and they'd be talking like that, smoking the weed, and this is what they would do because they got it from their music, and they wanted to be like their idols in their music. And that languaging affects and influences them so powerfully.
I actually wore a do-rag in grade 7.
Get off the stage.
That's how much rap I was.
Jamie wore a do-rag. I don't remember what that was.
I had to order it online. You can't get it in Canada. So, came straight out of Compton, I think.
Okay, yeah. Now, what I've been doing is I've spent the first half of this training helping you guys identify and realize what's going on here. Now, let me ask you some questions. Are you able to look back at the way that you've been speaking? Let's not even look back further than just today. We don't need to, because I am quite positive that in today alone, there were multiple times where we all were speaking somewhere based on good values, but using our lowest feared failure-based values, using languaging and words that were meaningless, that were not the right words, that were sending negative vibrations and negative destructive energy. It's like, I want to move forward so fast in life, but I don't want to move forward so fast in life. It's like we're speaking in dichotomy. If you do something amazing, I say, that's freaking sick. Freaking, definition?
I'm going to get dichotomy first.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you. Get the definition of dichotomy. But freaking, sick, we know that the definition of sick is. Is that anywhere near accurate?
rephrase it.
Definition of dichotomy is a division into two mutual exclusive, opposed, or contradictory groups. Division into two parts, subdivision into halves or pairs.
Okay. So dichotomy, to make it simple, is like saying I want to go to the gym, but I don't want to go to the gym. It's doing something and doing the exact opposite at the same time. It's, yeah, it'd be like, I'm going to go to the gym and not work out. Or
I'm not going to go to the gym, but I'm going to pretend like I did.
Or I'm going to start a business and not sell anything.
not start a business. So dichotomy is simply, I want this, but I don't want that, to sum it up. Does that make sense to you guys? So if you want to be a blessing, yes? You guys want to be a blessing to others?
Yes.
Or do you want to be a completely selfish person your whole life? No. Okay, great. We want to be blessings to others. It feels better to give than to receive, yes? Right. But why are we trying to give someone a compliment and taking from them at the same time?
That's what you want back. I think.
It's a dichotomy. Our languaging needs to be fixed and repaired. Because we're speaking in such contradictory terms, it's not consistent with any of our values. It's totally confusion. And we cannot make it different. You can't disassociate the meaning of the word from the value of the word. You can't take the meaning of the word out and use it in a different way and think it's going to have a different meaning. The word crazy, on a frequency level, based on sound, has an actual energy associated with it. Like if I play I wish I had my guitar down here. If I was to play a chord, okay, I do it, but if I was to play a chord on a piano, you know, and it sounds like ding, and it's great. But if I played a key that was off, right, it was like, and it sounded weird, it just sounded bad. I can't play that chord in the middle of a beautiful song. I can't play a bad chord. Okay, you'll notice it's like twing, you know, it's off. It's like someone playing a guitar solo and all of a sudden totally screwing it up, and it's absolutely obvious. I should stop using the word absolutely so much because it's not, but it would be magnified. Absolute is a big word for me. I just realized I use it a lot. Well, I'm going to stick with it for tonight.
Definition?
Yeah, let's give me a definition. I mean, absolute is absolute. Okay, it would be glaringly obvious. Not putting myself on that podium right now. I gotta start watching what I'm saying right now. You guys are gonna watch me. You guys are gonna watch me get myself stuck a couple times. I love it. Yeah. If you well, there is absolute truth.
Absolute means free from imperfection, complete, or perfect, pure.
So I can't use the word absolute.
You can't.
I
just
guess
know what it means when you use it.
Yeah, know what it means. So know what the words mean when you use it is the other thing. But all I want you guys to mostly get out of is that, okay, if you are trying to operate in a success thing, in your success-based values, but you are using your fear and failure-based values in the way that you speak, it's going to hold you down like you're holding on to a brick because you're trying to live here, but you're not letting this go. You're not letting the values go, those negative fear-based values, because they're entwined all throughout our languaging. So what can we start doing now to become more aware of the words that we're saying, and how can we be more honest and speak the truth rather than speaking a lie? Now, if I say you passed the test, or I say, congrats, that's freaking sick. Again, the definition of freaking. Now, that's a lie. It's not freaking, and it's not sick. We know the definition of sick. So I'm speaking falseness, and it's subtle. It's subtle, guys. It's subtle what we let ourselves get away with here. And I'm not trying to come down and say, well, you're never allowed. I mean, we'll speak like that. But if we are continuing to use these inferior programs, the way languaging, okay, the difference between me and a realtor who can sell, make $100,000 a month, is I don't know any of the languaging for real estate. I don't know a single bit of it. I've never done real estate. So I'll let you freaking.
Used for emphasis or to express anger, annoyance, contempt, or surprise.
So you're actually angry that you.
So I'm speaking a lie if I tell Alex, congratulations, it's freaking sick.
But it's also, it said that it was used for emphasis. So
It's
it's
emphasis of
But-
anger.
Emphasis out of anger. It's in a negative context. So I listen, freaking is a negative word. Think about a freak. Freaking.
Freaking out.
Freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out, man. No, wrong.
You are freaking out, man.
I am freaking out. So, backstep. Again, this is really fun stuff to take a conversation down. Wouldn't you agree? Because think about how much more aware you're going to be about the way that people are speaking. And what you're going to be able to do is start picking out, really, this person, the way that they speak says a lot about the person. And going back into the real estate guy. So, Mitch took a real estate course, right?
Yeah. So.
Now, would you say that right now, and I know what you will be amazing, but would you say right now you are as powerful at speaking about real estate in the real estate language? Because there's terminologies and words that they use, and there's certainly some structures in those conversations that someone who is not educated in real estate would not know to have. Would you say that you're as skilled now as someone who makes $100,000 a month in real estate?
No.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's not to make it about you. I know 100% you will, because you will learn the language. But it's the difference between the success of someone who makes $100,000 a month and someone who's just beginning is that person who makes $100,000 a month has developed the languaging. See, if I spent time and just studied how the person who makes $100,000 a month speaks, what they do, and the way that they talk to people, I could very easily have that same success because I've learned all the languaging. That's all it is. Same thing with finances. If anybody's in the finance game, I don't study finances. So for me, when someone starts talking mutual funds, this and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm mastering one move at a time. I haven't gotten to there yet. I just figured out how to make a whole bunch of money. But that works for me. But I don't know how to like if I was to sit there and talk to a banker, he's going to know way more terminologies than I do right now at this present moment. And so if he had all of his money taken from him, or he was in a desert island and he showed up in a place, he could probably go to a bank and start getting something going for himself, whereas I would not be able to, okay, because he knows banking language. So again, languaging is very, very important. And so if you want to have success in anything in life, you also need to be very aware of the words that you're speaking and how you're speaking those, because success is a higher value system than the failure value system. But those are still all programs that you need to remove completely and delete, because you want to be at your highest value system, in your peak state. And that's where you're not operated by programs. You simply are. You are the deprogrammer. Now, last night, Jamie and Bobby and I, we had some fun. We actually figured out how to identify certain programs that we were running, and we started deprogramming ourselves. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I want to make sure that you guys are with me here. We were very interested, wasn't it, Bobby? We had some deprogramming, and it was an upgrade. It was an upgrade because we started to realize these. This is where we downloaded and we realized we got an update. Okay, so what happened was we deleted a whole bunch of programs and we had a new
Operating system.
Operating system. Oh. Thank you. So now we decided that we wanted to share this with you guys because what a powerful breakthrough. And as I look at Anthony Robbins. Everybody here probably knows. If you don't, raise your hand. If you don't know, ask.
Who's this?
Tony Robbins.
I meant you ask if they know.
Oh. Do you guys know Tony Robbins? Yes, thank you. You don't know? Okay, so Tony
Who
Robbins.
doesn't know who he is?
Great. Okay, so Tony Robbins, or Anthony Robbins, he's a best-selling author, a motivational and inspirational speaker, teacher, leader, health coach, icon, etc. The guy has spoken to hundreds of millions of people. He has become a billionaire, and he is one of the biggest self-development, personal development teachers of all history. He's a very, very tall man, and he has kind of a raspy voice like this. I can't do it, but and he suffered from a small amount of giantism when he was younger because he had a little tumor next to his pituitary gland, so he grew very, very tall, very, very big. And he's an amazing person. He's an incredible speaker, probably one of the best on the planet. And if you're listening to Tony speak, there's not one there's not one there's not one like, there's not one there's not one negative word spoken. His languaging is powerful. And if you want to be a great speaker, if you want, by the way, what changes the world?
Speech and music. Words.
Words. So words are spoken with sound. So sound is a big deal. Sound is energy. Sound is frequency. Even deaf people can feel vibration. It's all about sound. So getting back into understanding the importance of sound, because that's the importance of words, it's the importance of music. And again, getting into the system of how we're going to reprogram ourselves is paying attention, very, very close attention to what we're saying.
How many times in a day you say, oh, I feel so bad, I feel terrible.
Oh, I feel so tired.
Change it to, how can I feel better right now?
Yeah, just go to the gym to eat something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can take that with anything.
Even the Paul says, hold fast to sound words.
Hold fast for
To sound words.
Hold fast to sound words.
That's King James. Sound words.
Sound words, yes.
Yeah. And the Lord dealt with me last week and said that words of faith and words of power.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you have faith in your words, you can have faith in your words. It's about power.
But that's right. And so speaking of faith, when we're talking about our highest value system, that's the level that you're operating in. You're operating in a level of faith, which comes from certainty, faith and certainty,
confidence, belief,
absolution,
power.
Absolute, understanding, truth. There's truth at your highest value system. There's light, there's love at your highest value system. There's peace at your highest value system. There's joy
who we really are
at your highest value system. All of the programs you're running are simply the bits of you that are not you. They're all the little bits of the muck and the slime because somebody yelled at you when you're younger, or somebody called you fat, or somebody called you stupid, or somebody hurt your feelings, or you fell off your bike and bruised your knee, or you had something hit you in the head, or you got bit by a bug, or you broke a foot, or you smashed a toe, or you got into a car accident, or you saw someone drown, or you watched someone die, or you had a terrible experience and it has left you with an emotional attachment and experience that is strong in your memory. And then, hang on one second. Now your identity, when you look back at that, it has power over your life. And that power is simply given to it because you've got a program in your mind. And you have to detach that program. You have to undo or delete that program so that that stuff doesn't affect you. Because when you are torn on the inside based on these experiences and programs that we've taught, then you're always going to have these dichotomies because these things are making us act on our lower value systems or our success value systems. Success, positive attitude on, it was nothing more. That's also a program. It's all learned programs. Delete all of the programs and just simply operate at your highest value system. Love, joy, peace, purpose, fulfillment. Moving forward in joy. Think about that. If I'm speaking, man, that test was freaking sick. Congratulations. Now, where's the joy in freaking? Where's the joy in sick? Where's the peace in the word sick? I'm speaking, I want to be here, but I'm speaking so down here. I'm denying the power of the words that I want to use. I'm denying the power of the message, I'm denying the power of the feeling I'm trying to transmit to him. And I'm using something that completely throws a bunch of garbage or manure on top of it. I'm speaking a positive thing, but I'm just throwing all this junk on top of it. It's like trying to throw someone a softball and then just spiking it out of the air before it even leaves your hand. It's like, here's the ball. Here, whoop, bam, You ain't getting that ball.
Catch that.
Yes. Hey, Alex, once you catch it, never mind.
Nah.
And then you kick the ball. That's what you're doing. Does this make sense to you guys? Did you guys have a little bit of a breakthrough, right?
Yep.
Scale of 1 to 10? 2?
Certified 28.
8? Appreciate that. Cool.
When we gather some takeaways.
Now let's get some takeaways here because we're nearing the end of our hour here. We have about 5 minutes left. So let's go. Let's do. What should we?
I'll do my takeaway.
We're gonna go clockwise. So you guys, and then Jamie can give us his final takeaway.
So I was there for the conversation yesterday.
Hang on, wait a second. I just want to do this.
So I was there for the conversation yesterday when this whole thing went down, and it made me so hyper aware of what I was thinking and what I was saying to myself that I realized I had programming like hooked into every single piece of energy that I was putting out there. I couldn't even think straight because of the amount of awareness I had to realize what I was actually saying to myself and to other people when I was speaking. That was the just most unbelievable takeaway that I had.
Awesome, David. Why don't you come up here and speak? Because I think it'll be better for us all. We'll just have camera time here.
Cool. One of the big things for me is I always found myself to be a very positive person. I use it everywhere I go, and it makes a big difference in my life and people around me. And maybe it's just the fact that I haven't got the best vocabulary or something, because I always say, oh, that was killer. That's a wicked show. I've said wicked since I was like 4 years old. I probably knew it was awesome tone than it was a negative one. So, and I completely get what Shane's saying that. So I'm going to make a serious effort just to kind of cut those out. You know, and if I can't find a good descriptor, I'll just say it was very awesome. You know, that's freaking awesome, right? So steadily work that up. So I'm going to make that difference.
Thank you, Dave. Joseph, why don't you come up here and share a takeaway?
Really quick, the definition of wicked. Evil or morally bad in principle or practice. Sinful and mischievous or playfully malicious.
So it's a 30-year-old program I'm going to have to
delete. Yeah. Is it deleted now?
Yeah.
It's deleted. Delete it.
Control.
Delete it. So you have to do.
Delete.
All you have to do is just delete identify the program and simply.
Identification is the.
You guys want to deprogram yourself? Just identify it and simply delete it. It's not going to hang on to you.
Don't forget to empty the recycle bin.
Yeah, empty trash. Okay, go ahead, Joseph. Sorry.
Yes, you know, I know that there's nothing in this world absolute except that what is divine, that what comes from God, because He's always the last word. And He says here in His word, He says, "Be not deceived. Evil communication corrupt good character."
Wow.
The
Amen.
concept.
That's a good one. Thank you for sharing. My young friend.
I was just going to say.
Come on, stand up here. Yeah, look at everyone. Just because it's.
Sorry, Joseph, one more time. Evil communication.
Corrupts good character. Corrupts good character.
Thank you.
Yeah. Or good morals.
Yes. Oh, sorry. You stand up for the camera. Just stand back a little bit.
Too tall of us.
Oh, you got it. You got it. There you go.
Basically, I think that I just need to go to the source, study that right now, and then change. Because I grew up in Toronto, and we even say, like, think. You would probably hear me say think.
Speak to them.
Yeah. Ladies?
There's a lot of things that I know that I need to change on my own vocab. Maybe it's because of it's also where you grow up to and how you come up, your environment, also who you put yourself in, who you hang out with. That also has a big effect on
Every aspect.
Aspect of your life. Yeah. Right now, I haven't been in a situation like this in a while. I'm kind of sweating right now, but
It's great. You're doing great. You're doing amazing. You're doing really good.
You're awesome.
I'm trying to get there. But yeah, I'm gonna have to change my whole vocab, and I'm gonna try to use bigger words. And I'm gonna try to not have to swear anymore.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank
Give it a hand, guys. Woo! share the camera.
Yeah, of course. Well,
And
for
speak
me-
up, speak loud.
Yeah, well, for me,
Project louder.
I can relate to what you were just saying there. Like, I grew up in Quebec, and my first language is French. So, like, my vocabulary is not as extensive as most people who are their first language is English. So, I really got to work on that as well. I like what you said about how sounds really affect all your programs and emotions. Pretty much.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you. Good. Thank you for coming up.
So if we're talking about programs and being programs and deleting our negative programs, I think we need to identify what the problem is and why we're having these negative or positive programs in the beginning. If we don't identify those things, then how do you know that that program we're deleting is not going to be replaced by something else that we're going to have to delete in the future? For instance, when I was younger, I used to watch lots of gangster movies, okay? And obviously that had a compounding effect on me over time. Maybe that was something I wanted to be. Obviously now I'm getting to that point in my life where that's not something I want to be. And even listening to certain kinds of music, certain kinds of music will have effects in different ways on all of us, right? And part of the younger demographic that is coming up now, being myself, we really need to watch what we expose ourselves to and expose people around us to as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just identifying where this negativity is coming from, whether it be music, people you're hanging around, things you're doing, things you're watching, things that you're teaching yourself, right? And it's like you look at older people, for instance, and you wonder why they're such, they're so good at conversating. They're so the words that they choose just make sense. And then the words that we say, like freaking awesome, that was great. Like we don't really have that big vocabulary like they were taught back in the old days. Now we're just exposed to this and that, and I don't want to get into swearing and stuff like that. But the reason is because what we're exposed to.
Yeah.
And my little brother, for instance, like I have a conversation with these kids, and it's just like it'd be like me having a conversation with somebody that's maybe 60 or 70 years old, and maybe we wouldn't get along, we wouldn't agree on certain things, right? It's kind of the same thing. You just gotta, you gotta watch what you watch, watch what you listen to, and just identify where those negative programs are coming from.
And watch what you think too.
And watch what you think.
Thank you. That was awesome. Guys, give me a hand. Layla, come on up here. I really appreciate you guys being brave and coming up here and sharing it with everybody, because this is some great stuff. I love hearing your takeaways.
Okay, so for me, I've been working on my programs for the last year of my life, and there was one that has come up a lot in the last 2 weeks. So yesterday morning, I woke up and I felt groggy, negative. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So throughout my day, I was trying to figure out maybe if there's a program that I had recognized or I had found out about or realized I had. So I was kind of running through the last 24 hours prior, and then it came to me. I realized that with my negative, I would say talk about a situation or someone, and what I realized is that every time that I talk, not intentionally, but with negative words describing or explaining a situation with somebody else, I would feel this, it's like an overwhelming, groggy, uncomfortable feeling, and I'd wake up the next day with it. So today and yesterday I realized this, and so that's a new program that I've just learned to overcome. So yeah.
Awesome. Great. Isn't this great how everybody's gained some tremendous value from understanding what programs we're all running? Go ahead, Sue.
Well, it really hit home for me when you said programs and children and those kind of things, because I don't want to get too emotional. I did have yesterday. I just, we were studying at the table, and I've been learning a lot coming here and just about self-development, and it's been great because I've been looking for something and I didn't know what. And when I found this group and the water and everything, it just makes sense. So with my children, and sometimes, you know, because of the pressure, because of the being self-employed and being a business owner, at the same time trying to keep the balance and being a mom and, you know, everything, and I just lost it, and I started yelling because one of my kids almost poked the other one in the eye, and I just lost it, and I started yelling, and then just looking at my child's face. And he was like just shaking and didn't know what to do. And just kind of, I was just scanning him and kind of realized, well, I did have a couple of these scenes when I was a child. And I always promised to myself, I'm like, never going to do this to my kids. But sometimes you just not, right? And I think that's what, you know, it was awesomely said, that you have to go back and look at that programming and just try to delete it. And sometimes you have to delete it more than one time, and you have to work on it quite a bit, but I just appreciate this. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. Just something you might have gained. If you gained whatever,
One thing you learned.
one thing you learned, and one thing, you can come up and share. Oh, come on, just give her a hand. Great. Thank you so
You're
much.
amazing, and everyone wants to hear from you.
Yes.
I'm nervous.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's normal.
It's totally normal. Everybody is.
I was
Thank
really
you.
proud.
Well, we were talking about like negativity and positivity, and me and Renata, we were talking about it in the car as well today. Like, I always look at basically me as a person, like I'm more of a negative person because I always like expect something negative to happen. It's just like, we were talking with my friends and everybody, and my friends are like, Anya, like, you should be more positive. Just like, for example, like there's a situation, and like look at a bright side, look at a like positive side and stuff like that, right? And for me, like, I basically every single day I get up in the morning, it's not that easy, like, to get up and like put a smile on your face like every single morning, right? But as long as you try, as long as you do your best to motivate yourself and, you know, like, try to stay positive and smile, I guess. Yeah, it's all gonna come.
Good.
Like, automatically, I guess. I don't know.
So you realize that there's some negative programs that you've been running,
Oh, yeah.
and you have to find the core of where they came from, and then you have to, and then we have, you can't do it because we got to go back. You know, for myself, there was one of the biggest, and I love my mother. I absolutely love her. She's amazing. She's one of my best friends. But there was one time, it was a very large, and I've detached myself from the emotion to this, but I didn't realize how much it had hurt me. Because we just moved into a new town. I was at my Nana's house, my grandma, I called her Nana, and Mom was sitting on the couch and she was really stressed out, and she just came in from having a cigarette, and she said, "F you, I hate you, little beep, beep, beep." Like my mom told me that. It sunk me down so low for so long. And for a long time, I ignored it and I brushed over it. And then it came to light of how that had really devastated my belief system in myself. It was a direct hate program from Mom.
That's what happened to me.
It was very, very powerful. My dad snapping, "You little beep, beep," you know, a direct hate word, cussing and swearing at your child with words that are destructive and transmitting pure, unadulterated hatred. And you speak that into your child, you have passed on a virus.
It's
It's
not their
okay.
fault. They got
It's
it from
not
their
their
parents.
fault. It's a virus. It's like, you know, hey, everybody gets herpes at least once. I'm just I'm just kidding. I have to make it funny here. You guys don't like that. It's okay. Just joking. All right. No, I'm just saying. Just, come on, it's funny. I had to crack some humor. right, it's a gift that keeps giving. But viruses, no, seriously. Everybody gets sick at least once in their life. It's a cold, it's a bacteria, it's something. It's not, the virus is not the person, it's a program. When I understand, my mom was running a program that she had been taught, and she was at this point where she was so stressed out in her life that she had a break in her ability to control, and this negative, demonic program came up and took over. And she was not herself at her highest values speaking that. Her highest values existed, but she was not present with them. She was at her lower value system. And she had dropped and used the fear and failure-based value system to speak hatred at me. And I forgive her. I completely forgive her. I forgive the situation. Because I myself have done so many things. I can judge nothing. And none of us can truly judge anything, because if we do, we're saying, you are all you are your programs. You are not anything up here. You are just this. Well, what program am I running to judge? The fear and failure-based programs. Does that tie it in for you? You must forgive.
That's right.
You must forgive. They know not what they do. As Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Think about that. Your highest value system is so big. You are so beautiful. You are so galactic. You are so huge and magnificent. You're created to be perfect. But our programs are getting in the way. We need to delete. Does this make sense to you all? So when we have programs, if we can learn how to forgive others, we can really forgive those situations. We must learn how to get in touch and let those situations go. But you have to see it for what it is. And then acknowledge that that program is not who you are. It is not who that person was. It is simply a program. I see the best in you. I see the best in you. There's greatness 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 in you. All of us, there's greatness in you. There's greatness in every one of us. So if I see the greatness in you and I speak only to your highest values, if Jamie speaks only to your highest values, not to the programs, I don't acknowledge your programs. And sometimes, as a coach, people will not like it when I speak it to them because I'm speaking to their highest values, seeing and believing the very best in them and in each of you. And sometimes it can become confrontational when you're speaking to someone's highest values because their lower value systems or their success value systems want to defend because you're acknowledging and you're trying to talk about a program that they're speaking. And you say, this is not you. You're doing something that is not your highest self. Remove, identify, here we go. This is what it is. Sometimes it's hard because the ego gets in front and it wants to defend everything. And the ego is very interesting because it is actually a defensive mechanism. It's like a bodyguard, okay? Your ego holds on to those programs. Yes, you can go ahead and sit down. No, this is great. You need this. This is great. Your ego holds on to, and it wants to defend the programs. It's okay because there's programs that work, that are good for you. And it's there to defend. So the ego is like a gatekeeper. It's like this lion. And he just walks around and he's like, you ain't getting past here. You're not getting in here. And it's going to defend. So what do you got to do to go around the ego? You got to throw that lion a piece of meat. He's going, oh, you can go on in there. And you start deprogramming stuff. But sometimes you got to beat the lion up. Whatever you got to do. Okay? You just got to deal with the lion. Go ahead, Mitch.
Quick analogy to all this. If we're going to have programs and be deleting programs, it's almost like you look at a computer and you get a virus in your computer and you delete that virus. If you're not running the virus protection, the virus can keep coming back.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to be able to identify where these viruses are coming from.
That's right.
The virus protection is your environment.
Well,
Right. Your
exactly.
past, your future, your present. You gotta
And
know
all
this.
of the people that you surround yourself with, like all of us carry programs that are viral. And if like for example, if you go and hang out with a guy who's a trucker and he swears and talks like a trucker, and then you pick up a couple more swears and you start hanging out with me more, which you do, all of a sudden you start swearing, I start swearing more, all of a sudden I start swearing and swearing starts to spread. In fact, we had this little breakthrough last night. We're like, we're swearing too much.
Yeah. I had a breakthrough like last week.
We're swearing way too much. It just came. But through fellowship, you spur one another on towards love and good deeds. And you can't stop meeting together. You must always meet together. And that's how steel sharpens steel. Now, sorry, back on to track. We have 2 more speakers. Just come on up here and share your insight. I just had that tangent, but it was a very valid tangent. Another realization.
I just want to say I'm really inspired right now. I just want to thank you for this reminder of the power of words. It's so amazing. And I'm really excited about the product and moving forward. And you're right, like there's some words that I definitely want to remove that are holding me back, and they're holding me back from my dreams. And it was a great reminder, and I just want to say thank you. And yeah, I came here tonight wanting to meet other people that are business oriented, that are, where I want to be, because I have really big goals this year, and I want to surround myself around people that are doing, that are already there, that are already where I want to be, and
Welcome home.
yeah. So I just want to.
Jamie, put your book down, stand up, take the floor. Give Jamie a hand, guys.
I just took some notes because, wow, you guys are all so wise and amazing. Thank you for sharing all your takeaways. The biggest thing that kind of comes up for me when we talk about frequency, right? We all agree that we're energetic beings. We're all energy. Everything is energy. Everything is frequency. So that's why we hear those sayings, birds of a feather flock together. Who are we hang out with? Or Harvard even did a study on it, broke it down to a science, Harvard Business School. And the conclusion was, you will become the exact average of your 5 closest influences. Now think about that for a second. When you wake up throughout your entire day, what is influencing you? What are you reading? What are you watching? Who are you hanging out with? What are you listening to? What are you talking about?
Why do you think I moved in here?
Of course. And what's happened since you did?
I've become an average of you guys.
Exactly. So you'll have the average health of your 5 closest influences. You'll have the average wealth or income as your 5 closest influences. You'll have the average emotion, joy levels, happiness as your 5 closest influences. Okay? And at the beginning, it's a rocky road to change your frequency. So when you come in contact with someone that's at a higher frequency, it feels a little bit weird. It's like intense. But the more you hang around it, the more you absorb it and you work it out, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got it. I can balance on this new wavelength. Wow. You guys understand what I'm saying?
It's like riding a bike.
It's like riding a bike. It's like doing anything you've ever done in your life. First, it's messy. You don't know what you're doing. Then you start to figure it out. Then you get better at it. Then the training wheels come off, and then you can balance by yourself, right? Anything you do in life. Any subject in life. So really pay attention from the moment that you wake up. What's your environment influencing you? I would highly recommend picking up some positive, success-minded books, audios, and you can search YouTube for the most golden nuggets all day long. And cut out the people. Forgive them. But the people that won't join you, won't join you on the new frequency. You got to choose between the frequency and them. You got to choose between the new level and them. Unfortunately, if they don't want to come up to the level with you, you can say, hey, come with me. Come, I'm getting there. I'm losing you. You want to come with me? I'm gonna go with or without you. Come on. Okay, see ya. Sorry. Most will come. We just invite them. And that's what we do in this business. Hey, I'm doing this awesome business. Hey, I'm starting to get paychecks for life. Hey, I'm building a wealth. Hey, I'm working for myself. Hey, I love what I'm doing. Hey, you want to come with me? Come to Tuesday night. Come to Thursday night. Come. Join me. Or forever stay in your frequency.
Wow. Awesome. All right, with that, we're going to wrap it up. And I just want to really tell you all something amazing. You are all incredible, inspirational, brilliant, beautiful, healthy people. Every single one of you has a gift from God to offer the world. Every single person is unique, and you are all very, very special and very powerful.
Yes.
And what I encourage you all to do this week, and for not just this week, but for the rest of your lives, is speak greatness into other people. And talk to other people at their highest values, so that when you're speaking to someone, they're not receiving your lower values.
And quit saying it like it is and say it how you want it to be and what you know it to be. And that goes for people as well. Don't see them as they are. If they're sick right now, don't see their sickness. See who they really are. Complete wellness.
Sickness is
That's what Jesus did. That's how he healed so many people. He did not look at the negative situation. He saw them as their highest value system, no matter what they were going through. Correct?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just want to say, Shane, that for the last year, you've been training us. I've been coming to your place. I now been able to move in with you. You've been completely an instrumental force in the development of most of us. And the amount of value that you give to us every week is just, and now for me every day, is just so grateful. Our words are beyond us. And I think I speak for all of us when I say thank you so much for all the work that you do for us.
I
Appreciate that. Awesome. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap it up.